Yo, what's good, hot peppers? All right, first and foremost, you need to get this out of the way because I see a lot of people having this mistake. Open up your menu, go over to settings, go to controller, go over to the movement tab. I want you guys to change your sprint assist to on instead of tactical sprint assist, okay? This only applies for sniping. This doesn't apply for red gunning. And then have your sprint assist sideways and backwards on as well. We'll cover the sideways and backwards stuff later. But trust me, guys, you want to have on instead of attack sprint. And the reason behind this, I'm going to show you guys in the firing range. I should probably have private matches just so that it would be easier. Okay, now that we're in a private match. Okay, so back in like previous CODs, a lot of us would just attack sprint, slide, zoom in. Now I want you to remember that once again. Slide, zoom in, just like that. Now if you simply just zoomed in, you probably already noticed your ADS is going to be a lot faster than what it is when you slide cancel then zoom back in. And the reason behind that is because auto tack sprint slows down your ADS speed, which is why you want to have sprint assist only on because when you zoom in from right after sprinting, you don't have to do this long animation from sliding and then you zoom in. It's a lot slower. This is literally why your ADS speed feels like it's extremely slow on this game. So take that thing out of here. All right, now the next secret setting I'm gonna give you. This is not the tip number 2, but this is gonna be a little bonus, just so that way you guys don't have your aim all messed up. And because I know a lot of people haven't probably covered this and whatnot. But go to your combat tab on the settings of controller and go over to combat settings, combat advanced settings. Click on this, go to change zoom activation and change this from sprint tactical / focus to melee. Now, if you didn't know, the LR, when you hold the left stick, try to hold your breath, sometimes you notice you zoom in and zoom out, and that probably will be costing your shot. So if you change it to your melee or your circle button to zoom in, which for me, I play tactical, so I use circle to press it, you won't accidentally zoom in on accident and mess up your shot. Take that thing out of here as well, man. Now go back to your settings and then now go into your controller again, and I want you guys to go over to your aiming tab. I'm gonna give you 2 more tips, maybe like 2.5. This one, to be honest with you, is going to be all personal preference, and I'm going to break it down quickly as possible. On your aiming advanced settings, click on this and go over to your ADS sensitivity transition timing. I have it on gradual. I used to have it on instant on Modern Warfare 3 and previous CODs, but for whatever reason in this game, gradual seems a lot useful when it comes to dragging your shots as you're using the LR and making those minor micro adjustments that you need to be able to quickscope. I'm not saying stick to this, but if your aim feels off, just give it a shot. And then your next setting you're going to want to change is these last 2 here. Personally, for me, I've noticed linear has always been great in Treyarch CODs, or just at least everything in general. But that's because I prefer having my thumbstick, my right thumbstick, more responsive across all directions across the board. Now, if you guys remember watching my video talking about how this setting destroyed my aim, basically I described how dynamic and linear, the differences between the two. And to summarize it, dynamic is responsive left to right, while linear is responsive across every direction around the board. If your shot's already good with dynamic, just stick with that. Trust me, just stick to that. And then go to your custom sensitivity per zoom. If you're rocking a high sense, I'm rocking 1414. I was on 1717 for a little bit, but I dropped it down just to be able to hit my shots a little bit more. But I've noticed some people put their high zoom at 1.1 just because of the omni movement of this game. You can kind of give it a try with that, or maybe it's 1.05 or 1.1 or even 0.90 or 0.95. Somewhere between that range, keep it somewhere around there. Low zoom sense. If you're a sniper picking up a red gun, lowering down your low zoom actually helps out a ton. So I have it at 0.90. Sometimes I'll drop it down to 0.80 if the shot's not on that day. I don't really try to mess with it that much because I'm not that much of a red gunner. And that pretty much sums up the aiming setting on controller. All right, so this next tip, if you guys remember how I told you to have sprint sideways and sprint backwards on, I mean this. I swear to God, I literally thought about gatekeeping this tip. And the reason why I'm sharing it to you guys is because, I'll be honest, I am not as passionate on this game as I was on Cold War. So if you guys know about the slide cancel sideways, which is this right here, right? So if you just slide cancel how you normally would, left to right, all right? It's that simple, okay? So remember that movement mechanic. So if you didn't know, when you sprint forward and you slide cancel and then you zoom in, that looks pretty slow. Now, I want you to remember that. Now, if you slide canceled and zoomed in, when you slide cancel right, check this out. That's a lot faster. So instead of going around the corner, slide cancel like this with a slow ADS, instead, you're gonna want to slide cancel right first while having your crosshairs already on a head glitch here or potentially on a head glitch here. So you're gonna slide cancel, and next thing you know, your crosshairs are already lined up to the enemy that could potentially be there, without you slowing down your ADS speed and misplacing your crosshairs. That is such a crazy tip that I don't even see that many players doing on this game at the moment. This is a game-changing mechanic, and even the best part about it is that you can slide cancel like this, and then if you want, you shoot, and then you can slide cancel back. Like, you can go left to right, just like that, without even moving your crosshairs. All right, this next tip, it's a follow-up to the previous one. If you guys remember how I told you to not move your crosshairs, but to slide cancel going left and right, so that way you can still utilize the movement mechanic and also keep your crosshairs completely the same. Now, if you didn't notice already, you are using your left stick to aim. So instead of using your right stick, where you obviously slide cancel and turn, you're using the left stick and you're barely moving the right. Now, if you are a red gunner or was a red gunner, you've probably heard of the term, use your left stick to aim instead of your right stick. And that's probably the craziest advice you can probably take as a sniper, because most sniping games or most Call of Duty games, when you snipe, you use your right stick to aim about most of the time. Now, in current Call of Duty titles, you're able to shoot and move at the same time, and the bullet will pretty much go right where you aim it at. In previous Call of Duties, you had to stand still and make sure you land your shot, because if you kept moving, it wouldn't make your bullets go straight. This is a hard habit to adapt to if you are an old gen player or an old head like me. I'm 25 and I'm still going, but break this new habit in. You use your left stick to aim. Notice the difference when I use my left stick compared to when I use my right. It's more sensitive on the right, even though yes, I am on 14/14 sensitivity. And just to show you guys, if you don't believe me, 14/14. When I barely move my right stick, it's a little bit more sensitive. I can obviously, mess with the dead zone, but it's a lot easier when you use your left stick, because you can make those tiny micro adjustments while you are zoomed in compared to when you are on your right. It's like when you're on your right, it's a little bit hard. And on top of that, when you're using your left stick, when you're moving, you're also making yourself harder to hit from the opponents, because everyone is usually very used to standing still. So get in tune with using your left stick to aim instead of your right all the damn time. All right, moving on to the next sniping tip, one of the second to last ones. This one, I'm gonna be honest, I could have made a video about it, but I'm just gonna jump right into it because I don't have any highlights for it. But you're gonna wanna put on your silencer on your sniper. You're probably wondering, well, what, Zephy, I'm gonna get hit markers with this damn thing. You're not. Now I'm gonna show you right now, because in firing range, when you shoot in the chest, you get a one shot. I'm using a silencer right now. And same thing in that is with the LR. You can have the suppressor on and it will not decrease the damage. I haven't tried it on the SVD. I would assume it's a one shot because it's a one shot across the LR and the LW3. I know some of you guys are like, well, Zephy, what's the point of the muzzle brake? Well, the kick reset speed is nice to have, but if you're already used to that recoil that you get with the snipers already, I promise you suppressor would not even hurt you in the slightest. And I'll be honest, I think the suppressor is a bit broken, because if you're on a flank in 10v10 and you're using the suppressor, and you miss, or if you want to get multiple enemies right behind them and without even noticing that you're there because you have a silencer and you're not on the radar, this thing is just, I'm gonna be honest, it might just be OP. It might be OP. This honestly would be useful only in Warzone, but this kind of technically could apply for multiplayer as well. If you zoom in even just a slight bit, you probably notice that the glint shows up right when you zoom in, not even like all the way. If you just tap it, the glint shows up. And sometimes it may look like someone's hard scoping you, but sometimes, they didn't really hard scope you. They actually quick scoped you because how quick that glint was. Now, there's no attachment that will conceal your sniper glint, unfortunately. There's no muzzle that will conceal it. I just give you guys a whole different room or vibe just now, just because the background's changed. But anyways, listen. In optics, my webcam is covering it. On the right, it says Cons Large Scope Glint. Depending on what scope you use, you can technically remove the glint out of your sniper. So most of these scopes or optics, they will have a glint except for the iron sight. Now, if you're playing multiplayer, iron sight would be pretty ideal to use. If you use thermal, this doesn't have any glint. Me personally, I wouldn't use it just because it lowers the ADS speed. So my advice, be mindful on how you scope in. If you guys want to learn more tips on this channel, I have a lot more covering in future videos. So subscribe to the channel and like this video if it has helped you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.